Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. It is so much that's going on here behind the scenes with an esports team, the Discord, Instagram, a lot of different collaborations, and I can't wait to show all of them to you in due time. But today we're gonna do another sim racing wheel review, and today the luck has come to the Grid Engineering Porsche 911 RSR sim racing wheel. It's a long name, I know, but I'm starting to get used to it after all the reviews that we've done. So let's get into it. So any one of you that's watched my videos knows that I'm not gonna go super deep into the specs. I'm gonna run the specs for you, but if you want more in-depth of what everything means, I would definitely recommend Boosted Media or a channel that goes, all the way to the bottom of every product they review. But if we start with it, 30 centimeters or 300 millimeters of diameter. It's got a 5-inch high-resolution LCD. It's got 300 lumens, and you can adjust the brightness. It's got 80 RGB telemetry-controlled LEDs where you can customize every one of them on the encoders and on the buttons. It's got a full CNC aluminum constructions. It's 66-1 grade and it's anodized. It's got a 5mm carbon front plate. It is SimHub compatible, and they have their own proprietary software called Race Director, and in Race Director you can tell it that it should go to SimHub. So it's really nice that you get to choose from Race Director or SimHub depending on what your needs are. But I think today, if a wheel isn't compatible with SimHub, it's kind of a fail, since pretty much everyone I've ever talked to uses it for, the LEDs, the dashboards, and all things like that. So super happy that this also has that. That means that I can run my lovely dashboards on this without any issues, and it's super big and bright, so yeah, I love that. It's got overmolded PU grips with anti-static mixture, and one thing that I actually thought about when racing with this wheel is there's not much lint that's getting stick to it whatsoever. Like, I honestly can't barely see any lint on it right now, so that's a really nice thing for me. If you pull it really hard like this, it gives you a little bit of flex. It's nothing that I have ever noticed while driving, but for people knowing, it flexes a little bit. The wheel has adjustable clutches, it has paddles, and up here it actually has a rocking paddle. So if you set this to be your gear, you can actually shift like this and then out. You don't need to use these, you can actually go like. So if you want, you can use this as a one hand with shifting, which is really nice. It connects via USB, but it's kind of a power hungry wheel with the big display and all of the electrics in it. So you need to connect your USB from the wheel into a little power hub, and then you have the power hub that goes to the computer and then also down to an electrical socket. So one thing that's good is that you can take a lower powered USB outlet and don't take one of the outlets with a lot of power for the other products that you might need the power to. But yeah, it's something to have in mind that you need to have an extra cable running through, the back of your rig. So with that said, let's move on to design and build quality. And in terms of design, it is a licensed replica of the Porsche 911 RSR. So design wise, I would say that it is perfect. You have the Porsche emblem, you have all the buttons, you have the shifted rocker paddles, everything that you would expect to see in that version of the Porsche. When it comes to the build quality, like I said, it's built out of aluminum and a carbon fiber front plate. So it does have quite some weight to it, but it's nothing that you really think about when you drive it. You just have a really stable wheel to hold in that actually gives you really nice force feedback from your wheelbase. But in terms of buttons, encoders, and rotaries, you have 4 thumb encoders that are in aluminum with buttons on, so you can actually map those to whatever you wanted to. You have 4 rotaries on the front. Those are in plastic, but they are very solid and they give a nice little clicking sound. And then you have all of the buttons here for your functions, and when it comes, you actually have stickers on it already, but if you want to, you can switch stickers. And the buttons are made out of like plasticky rubber, so they're quite soft, but they're still clicky. And here's one of the few, not negatives, but one of the few things you need to think about when you have this wheel, because since these are out of rubber, you can actually push it in and you might just have it getting stuck under. It hasn't happened for me yet, but I think that might be something to kind of look out of. But yeah, so far I never missed a button with any push, and it always works flawlessly. But yeah, just saying that it is soft buttons, it's not hard buttons. I think if I could change that, I would like to have a little bit of a harder button on it, but that's just me nitpicking at this moment. And in terms of the grip, they are PU molded, so they are really grippy, but they're not sticky, so things actually haven't gotten stuck on it. And one thing that I can always recommend is to drive with gloves to keep your wheel fresher. I always use my, trusty Sync Mesh gloves. I'm not ashamed of saying it, I love Sync Mesh gloves. I'm gonna design my own pair coming very soon, hopefully. And as I said before, and I think there's only two things with this wheel that I'm not like yes about, and that is the buttons, but I never had any issue. I'm just seeing a potential issue that might happen. And these grips are super nice, but if you are someone that's very strong and really likes to, do like this, you might feel some flex down here. It's a little bit like if you really try, you can move the PU a little bit. It of course goes back to its position, but that is something I know that a lot of people wonders about with some wheels. But yeah, I've never noticed it while driving. And to continue on the track on design and build quality, we'll just move over to the dashboard. And this is one of the largest dashboards I've seen on a wheel. It is 5-inch, it's super bright, and it's super clear no matter what you want to see. So me using lovely dashboards, I can have two really big modules on it and see it perfectly clear. So that's one thing that I really like with this dashboard. You can also use the original Porsche dashboards. Oh, that's such a tongue twister to say. If you use it in Race Director, their software, and that's the software where you also can see if there's a firmware update for the wheel, for example. And like I said, it's fully SimHub compatible outside of the Race Director software, and it has 80 programmable LEDs, and you might wonder where they are. Well, you have all of them here, but also around every button and encoder is actually 4 programmable LEDs, so you can really customize the wheel the way you want it. And with that customization, we're gonna go to racing, because you customize this wheel the way you want it to look when you race. So how is the race feel in the Porsche 911 RSR? What's the feel when driving? And like I said before, this is one of my favorite wheels at the moment, and it's one of the favorite wheels I've ever tested while doing reviews. It's super sturdy, and you really get a nice feedback from your wheelbase, which means that when you drive, you can actually feel how the car acts. And the 30cm diameter, it's a really nice in-between from the smaller Formula wheels and the little bit bigger GT3 wheels. So in terms of sizing, for me, this one has been kind of hitting a sweet spot in terms of having nice turn-ins and not having to travel too far. I sound like a lazy guy here, but it's such an immersive feeling, and especially if you drive the Porsche on like iRacing or Assetto Corsa, it's really cool if you drive with the wheel. I usually turn it off, but it looks just about the same, and you can go all out and feel like you're sitting in your Porsche. So if you want a racing wheel that is compatible with SimHub, that's really, really good and looks amazing, I would definitely recommend this. It's got a premium price point, so it might not be for everyone, but the good thing is that this kinda also works as, kind of like a showpiece on your rig. If you have one thing on your rig that really needs to stand out, I would definitely go with this wheel because it looks amazing, it feels amazing. But yeah, that's just me. So who is this wheel for? And like I said, no matter if you want it as a mantelpiece on your rig or if you want to use it for racing, it is a premium product. So of course it comes with a premium pricing. It's around 2,300 euros, including VAT, including tax. And I think if you look at the big picture, it's not the most expensive thing you're gonna get for your rig, probably, but it still is a lot of money. And with that, of course, I can say it is a licensed Porsche wheel. It's made of aluminum and carbon fiber and really high-class rubber. So they haven't really saved in on any materials. This is a high-end build straight through. And I would say that it actually works for a lot of different disciplines. I usually drive GT cars, and it's perfect for that. It's 30 centimeters, so you could potentially do Formula cars where you want to have a little bit of a tinier wheel, and you can do races where you need a little bit of a bigger wheel. So I've said like this is a really nice sweet spot in between bigger ones and the smaller ones. So for me, it's kind of ticking a lot of boxes, and that justifies the price for me. And as I said, the things to think about with this wheel, like I said, it is these buttons. I haven't had any issues with them, but there might be a potential that they would get stuck behind. I don't think so. It flexes just a teeny tiny bit. And when you drive, these thumb encoders, they could have moved them a little bit forward. It's not a big issue, but now you kind of go down on the rubber. If you do it from behind, it works really well. But that is if you do like this, but sometimes of course you want to go like that. Like, looking big picture, I just say these things to have something to say, so it's not just like, oh, this is the best wheel ever. But for me so far, this is actually my favorite wheel, hands down. So kind of to summarize the Grid Engineering Porsche 911 RSR sim racing wheel, it is an officially licensed Porsche wheel. It's got an amazing build. It's 30 centimeters, it's got a 5-inch display that's super bright and super clear. You have the option to use either SimHub or Race Director, whichever fits you the best. I would say SimHub is amazing with all of its customizations and different dashboards and everything you can do. You know, you can get lost in SimHub for a long time. It has RGB lighting that you can actually set up to work the way you want it, which is really nice. And if I take this wheel and compare it to the iRacing Artura Ultimate wheel that I did a few weeks ago, they are fairly similar in terms of sizing, except this dashboard is a lot bigger and it feels a little bit smoother when turning. I think that's because this wheel is a little bit more round. I'm not saying that's the scientific explanation, but that's how I feel with it. At least you have a little bit of a different grip. And if you're comparing this to the Cube CSX3, it is fairly similar. The Cube is a little bit more bulky on the handles, and I'm gonna make that video fairly soon as well, so you can see what I mean. So that kind of sums it up, and my question is, are you racing this wheel, or have you tried it, or would you ever consider buying a wheel that costs over 2,000 euros? If so, let me know in the comments, and thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and also put a comment down here. That helps my channel grow, and I appreciate that immensely. And to kind of wrap this video up, in a few days we're going to announce the winner of the Cube Controls F-Core Evo giveaway. We have our Discord where that's going to happen, so if you're in that competition, don't forget to sign up on the Discord. There's a link down below. And yeah, I think that's it for now. Have a great day, and thanks for watching. Bye.